Alright, so this question reads, Pet World has exactly 14 animals, 3 gerbils, 3 hamsters, 3 lizards, 5 snakes that are kept in 4 separate cages, W, X, Y, Z, according to the following conditions. So we have our cages, and then the animals that will be kept in them. 3 gerbils, 3 hamsters, 3 lizards, and 5 snakes. Alright, let's go to the rules. Rule number 1. Each cage contains exactly 2, 4, or 6 animals. So that means, since we have 4 cages with 14 animals, we can have 2 cages with 2, 1 cage with 4, 1 cage with 6, or 1 cage with 2, and the other 3 with 4 in them. Alright, rule number 2. Any cage containing a gerbil also contains at least 1 hamster. Any cage containing a hamster also contains at least 1 gerbil. So, a better way to write this is, if we have a hamster, we will always have a gerbil, and if we have a gerbil, we will always have a hamster. So, rule number 3. Any cage containing a lizard also contains at least 1 snake. Any cage containing a snake also contains at least 1 lizard. So, same goes for 3. Rule number 4. Neither cage Y nor cage Z contains a gerbil. We know from rule number 2, if there's a gerbil, there's going to be a hamster. If there isn't a gerbil, there isn't a hamster. So that means they don't have hamsters either. Rule number 5, neither cage W nor cage X contains a lizard. So likewise, we know from rule number 3 that if there isn't a lizard, there isn't a snake. So that means that cage W and X are going to have the gerbils and hamsters, and cage Y and Z are going to have the lizards and snakes. So, since we have 2 cages to work with for the gerbils and hamsters, and there's 3 of each, the only combination we can have is one of the cages to have 2 and one of the cages to have 4. Likewise, for Y and Z, we have 5 snakes and 3 lizards, and we need to make sure that any cage containing a lizard also contains at least 1 snake, and any cage containing a snake also contains at least 1 lizard. So, since we have more snakes, we have 2 options. One where there's a 2 to 6, and then the other where there's a 4 to 4. So in the first option, we could have a snake and a lizard, and then we'd have the rest in the 6, so 4 snakes and 2 lizards. Or we can have 2 snakes and 2 lizards in one, and then the leftover 3 snakes and 1 lizard in the other. Okay, so that's our setup, our rules, and our deductions. I hope that was helpful. Let's go and try the next question.